Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsockеtradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
It's Coffee Ann on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us this morning. It's Wednesday. It's February 26th. You know, we turn the clocks ahead in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
March 9th.
Yeah, it's great.
How exciting is that? Well,
No,
really
we
the 8th.
lose
What
an
are we
hour,
looking to get rid
though.
of?
I'm sorry. It's spring, no, it's spring forward.
Spring forward.
Yeah.
We lose an hour of sleep.
Well, I just say we move the clocks.
Is this the time that they want to keep permanently?
Yes.
It's coming up?
Yes.
The daylight savings time. Just
Yes.
keep it. Don't
Yes.
have any more change of seasons. Okay.
So we're all parents, but do you remember the days of like babies and spring forward being a nightmare?
I
Yes,
was.
I
yeah,
do.
Where,
but-
where
the
you know,
baby
they
didn't
normally get
care.
up at like 6 a.m. as an infant, but
Yeah.
it was like 5 a.m. and it was torturous at the time. Oh, I
Oh,
remember those
good times,
years.
good times.
I know.
All right, that's Melissa Smith. Hi, Melissa.
Good morning, everybody.
Tim Draper's here. Hi, Tim.
Hello, everyone.
And John Ward is here. Hi,
Good
John.
morning.
John is being he's being asked to be the new
Is it
Doge officer for Rhode Island.
Is it spring?
Not yet. Not yet. We'll get into that a little later. But Melissa, it's time for our first message, please, from the St.
I
Antoine
was just
communities.
thinking we're off to like an old school start where we just can't lock
get
it
it together.
in. Joe's going to get annoyed with us in about...
Any minute now, John's got to go. It's time for a first message from the St.
Yeah,
Antoine's
he's going to get
community.
the dad tone out and keep us on track. Anyways, okay, so Melissa Smith, St. Antoine Community. For those of you that don't know a lot about us or the services that are provided on our property, we are a large long-term care community. We have assisted living, short and long-term skilled care. We have a state-of-the-art rehab facility, as well as 2 levels of memory care units on our property. If you are interested in learning more about the services we have to offer, or even just to understand the placement process of maybe enrolling a loved one into our community, you can reach out to me at 401-767-3500 or email me at msmith@santantoine.net.
Well, Melissa has some got the lucky roll of the dice because she was supposed to be at jury duty today, but. Now, where were you supposed to go? Providence?
Providence, yeah.
Okay, and you got notice yesterday afternoon that just you were
Do you want
canceled?
me to
Just
read
that-
it to you? It was like the
sure.
most. It was the most glorious message I've ever gotten. It was.
Hallelujah.
If you know my personal life right now, it just the timing couldn't have been better, and it was
right.
definitely. Everyone kept saying, "Try to get it moved, try to get out of it, all the things."
Yeah.
And from what I
Well,
understand, you
tell them
really can't anymore.
You're guilty.
Very difficult.
There's really not a way. So the text and 2 emails I got, and then another text later
All right.
said jury service canceled. Dear, and I won't get into my personal information,
Yeah.
you are no longer required to report for jury service on Wednesday, February 26th and Thursday, February 27th. Please do not report for jury duty service either day as it has been canceled. I can't read this morning, obviously. It's my coffee next to me. Give me a few minutes. You may also refer to the email that was sent for more information. Thank you, officer, da-da-da-da. And the same thing was repeated in an email, and basically
So
until further notice.
Okay, yeah, they didn't say
No.
don't come today, but in 2 months you got to show up again.
But I feel relieved that I didn't try to get out of it, because from what I've been told, I have a few friends that literally had conflicts, and it kept getting bumped. Like they'd get permission, then it would get bumped. Of course, they would get flagged, another problem. And at some point they say no. So I feel like I pushed through. I was going to make this work. So now if they hit me during
2 days of your life
whatever,
back.
yeah, whatever, maybe a trip this summer or whatever, then I feel like I have a free pass
So
that I can
does the
really
last
get it.
does the last sentence of your notification say "We'll be back"?
We'll be back. The email was a little
In an
longer,
auto
and that
voice.
one did imply like,
You're still on the
continue to check you. Yeah, you'll get
right.
another rotation. But yeah, I was cringing because I don't like that they give you 2 days as a professional, right? They give you Wednesday, Thursday, with the possibility of Friday. Well, that makes it incredibly difficult to plan your work week and try to figure things out. And then so you're acting as though if I get picked. So I feel like for the last 2 weeks, it's been nothing but telling people if I get picked, I can't XYZ on Friday, or I can't whatever. And this is limbo space. And anyways, without getting into any more details, because I'm boring the audience.
You
All right,
won't
well,
be
good.
deciding the guilt or innocence of Karen Reed.
Wouldn't that have been fun? That would have been a case I'd
that
be
would-
all over.
that would be me.
If I have a recommendation to them, book you for Thursday, Friday. If you get picked for the case, roll it to the following Monday, but just leave that Friday out of it at least. You know what I mean? It's just keep it compartmentalized a little bit for people who have schedules to juggle.
All right. So, John, I just wanted to bring this up. You always like to say...
You want to bring this up?
I do.
Really?
Because, because you always say about certain people what a maroon.
Yes.
And the man that came up with that Tex Avery, who made all the Bugs Bunny cartoons. It's his birthday today.
Really?
Yes, it is. He was born on this day. Obviously, he's passed away. He was born on this day in 1908.
Oh,
He
that's
created
interesting.
several cartoon characters, including Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, and I'm sure he came up, or his group came up with what a maroon that Bugs Bunny used to say. All right, so there's a public health alert. North Smithfield, Melissa.
There's a raccoon on the loose.
There's a possible rabid raccoon.
Well, there was one dead on
the
my way
loose.
here on Great Road.
Oh, well, they're great.
That was fluffy and fresh, and I thought to myself, well,
Fluffy and
I wonder.
fresh roadkill.
It looked like
Where's
it
Bruce
just.
Sunderland when you need him?
So this is the suspected case of the rabid raccoon is in the Iron Mine Hill Road, Sales Hill Road area. And so they sent out, hey, be on the lookout, especially if you see a raccoon during the day
Yeah.
walking around. That's a problem
That is
right
a
there,
problem.
because that's normally what they don't do. And then they go on with all the other stuff. Don't pet it, don't feed it, don't go near it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get bit, you got to get medical attention and things like that. So
I hope they don't
something to be
postpone
aware of.
all the construction until further
For
notice.
the rabid raccoon? No, I don't think that'll be an issue. Funniest thing I ever saw, this happened at Autumn Fest maybe 7 years ago. In the middle of the day, there's a raccoon walking down Food Row.
Oh, that's not a good
and,
one.
And there's Richard Severia, I don't know if you know who Rich Severia is, with a broom, pushing it along, trying to get it out of the way. But it wasn't acting weird. It wasn't frothing. It wasn't running.
He was hungry.
People just moved out of the way, and Rich was just just keep moving it along. 'cause
Overwhelmed by
so.
the temptation of the food.
Maybe they were smelling the Doughboys, John.
Could be.
That stuff smells good. But he just moved on his way, and nothing happened there. But that was I always found that amusing. All right, so that's what's going on in North Smithfield. Don't be petting, don't be feeding the stray raccoons. They also say don't feed any stray animals. But,
What's really funny
and
is
don't leave out food because the raccoons will come for the food.
I've lived in town for 13 years, and we have like 3 acres of land, all kinds of animals. I think in my 13 years, I've seen one raccoon go under my shed, and then I've never seen him again. Maybe he just stays there forever and never comes out, or comes out at night when I can't see him. But growing up in Smithfield on, let's say, we had probably like a 1/4 acre lot. We had a family of raccoons every summer. Like, babies were always born. I just remember my dad lifting the screen, throwing shoes out the windows at it, seeing them all the time. But I feel like up here I don't see them as often. I mean, I know I just said I passed one on the ride here, but
It
I
was
see
dead.
way
No
more,
offense.
fisher cats, wild
Yeah.
turkeys, the stupid, what are they called, moles or whatever? Not moles.
Gophers.
Woodchucks.
No,
Possums?
they look kind of
Possums.
a lot of
Probably
possums.
possums.
A lot of
Lot of
possums.
possums.
Whatever, but those are supposed to be good to have in your yard.
Yes,
Actually, yeah.
really? Leave
A
those
lot of
guys
bats,
alone.
all the other things.
They
but
can't contact rabies.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's why it's good to have because they'll go after the bats and the mosquitoes. Yeah,
It
possums
could
are fine.
be-
You leave them
My
alone.
suspicion about that is because in our neighborhood it's diminished greatly. We used to have skunks all the time and
Oh, yeah.
raccoons. But ever since we started putting trash inside the bins,
Gone away.
it
That's
took
true.
a dive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. With
interesting,
the
yeah.
new big latch lid
Where
bins,
when you were
maybe.
growing up, you probably just threw bags of trash or barrels out into
Definitely.
the street that weren't covered. And
Yeah.
No, what we
It
did
was
is
bags.
put them in that little metal thing that sat next to the garage. You stepped on them.
Yeah, you put it in the-
put
you
your
put it in the
garbage
ground.
in there, put it back down, and then
Good
somebody
Lord.
came out once
That's
a week
true.
and
the
picked that up.
garbage pail.
Garbage
pail.
pail.
Oh my
Open
gosh.
one way to throw it in, open the other way to take the pail out.
Yep.
We ended up having to put a rock
Yep.
on top of
Like
the
a
pail
cinder
'cause-
block or a rock.
Yes,
Yep.
because the raccoons would come along and could just step on this and
Bungee cords. I think my
Food.
dad tried bungee cords
Did
at
he?
one point.
Wow.
What kind of job
Okay.
is that to have to empty that though? Oh man.
Yeah, tough.
Yeah, but they were taking it, the guys that were picking it up often back far enough, they were taking it to feed the animals.
Yeah.
Oh,
Farm
okay.
animals.
All right, things going on. Congratulations, great work by, I would have to say, the Providence Police and the Rhode Island College Police, because they have arrested someone very quickly on the suspicion of planting the camera
Right.
in the bathroom at Donovan Dining Hall.
Who was the guy?
He's an employee.
Oh, an employee. Okay. He
in
looked
the,
really old. It's like he's not a student.
He's not. Well, he's 49.
That's
okay.
really old.
He's been working there since 2015 in the dining hall. I forget what his actual title was. It was pretty long, kind of thing. And who knows how long the camera's actually been there.
Oh.
So it was a unisex bathroom. Some person saw it, and what's funny is they took a picture of it, and then when they went and they got people, and when they came back to get it, it was gone.
Because he must have come back.
He must
and
have
grabbed
been watching it.
Yeah.
Oh, someone says, I've been spotted, so he went
Yeah.
and grabbed it.
Yeah.
So they checked other bathrooms. They didn't have any problems at other bathrooms, but They don't tell you how they do it, but this was quick.
Yeah, how did they get the guy?
They got this
If
guy.
he took
I
the
don't
camera.
know.
Oh,
Unless
maybe
there was-
they put a camera facing the camera, and then when he went to go get the camera, that's how they got him.
Maybe.
Lots of cameras.
I don't know.
Lots of video evidence here.
So he's charged with 1 count of video voyeurism. Since he was an employee at Rhode Island College, they quickly suspended him.
With pay?
I don't know. They did place him on a no trespass order. He can't even go on campus right now. Not just Donovan. He can't even go on campus. Police are reviewing evidence to determine if there will be additional charges. But congrats, they worked fast on this one.
Yeah.
And caught him
It's your
very
alma mater,
quickly,
isn't it?
so that's good.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it's mine.
Oh, it is yours.
Oh yeah. Fine food at Donovan. Like all colleges. They always break out the good stuff when the parents come.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Right.
then when my son went to college, it was up in Maine, and when we were there, they had a soft serve ice cream machine. Oh, it was great. And as soon as he went to school, it broke, and
Yeah.
they never fixed it.
How much money they would have
Sorry
spent
about
on
that.
ice cream?
Colleges
refills?
now have got like
Oh, the selection
the
is amazing.
stations
Yeah.
and the variety
Oh, yeah.
and they got gluten free, this over here, and
vegan
you've got
over
vegan
here.
over. Yep, you've got the stir fry station, the omelet station. Anyways,
The
It's like
only
the food court at.
it kind of is.
Emblem Square.
The only option we had when I was going to Rick was, okay, here's the main meal, shepherd's pie, let's say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't want that, okay, you could go over there. They'll cook you a burger.
Yeah.
You had your 2 choices, or don't eat. That third
Or
choice, I
don't
guess.
eat. Yeah.
There you go, 2 choices.
I
Things have
don't know.
changed.
When I was going to college, it was strictly 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock classes, and then I'd go to work.
You didn't eat?
No dining
Me
hall
too,
for me.
man.
No dining hall for you.
Me too. Kentucky Fried Chicken for me.
All
When
right.
I was working at Tire Pros.
All right, so we'll bring up the thing I've seen online. People trying to recruit John to be the Doge officer for the state, the whole state, not just up here. They want you for the whole state, John. I'm like, and
Well,
they had your picture there. I'm like,
They-
wow,
the
this
governor
is nice.
just
Who are
rec-
these
the
people?
governor- the
There's a group, a Facebook group, authoritative Woonsocket something, and they try to keep tabs on what's going on in the city, and they like John. They wish John was voted mayor, and since we can't have that, now they want him to be the Doge officer. So
The governor has made
Government
it clear that
efficiency led by John
they
Ward.
don't need
A
we
Doge.
don't need an inspector general
okay,
because we do that job already ourselves.
yeah, and a fine job, right? Okay, moving
No.
on.
It's ridiculous.
Okay.
How much we need an inspector general in this state.
In all seriousness, do other states have a Doge?
No, they have
Person for the
they have
state?
inspector generals
Okay, let's follow
that can go in. They have the right to go into any agency of the state, any operation, and audit.
and look at the books.
And look at the books,
where
challenge
the
the
money's going.
transactions, make sure it's all backed up properly, and they usually have a reporting hotline where people can confidentially or anonymously submit problems that they see that should be investigated, and they go out there and they do their job. It's no different. And this is one of the more troubling things I find about Trump's reign this time is this when he first started out by firing all those inspector generals. There's a lot of bad information out there going around now. There's an accusation that every one of those inspector generals in some part of their portfolio was dealing with investigations of things Musk was doing. I don't know that that's the case, but the inspector generals do extremely valuable work, especially at the federal government level. And to say that you're getting rid of 12 of them and didn't even mention replacing them with his own people, just got rid of them. And that's disturbing because I'm sure there were ongoing investigations. I know that the HUD inspector generals have done several investigations here in Woonsocket of the Housing Authority for the Department of Housing and Urban Development, and they're extremely valuable positions. And Elon Musk and his gang of kids are not going to replace the duties of inspector general at this point because they're not looking at information the same way.
Okay.
So what does an inspector general do? What is the end result? Looking for fraud and waste?
Inspector generals do a couple of things. They look for criminal activity, number one.
Right. Okay. Yep.
They are also looking for, it's not, we call it fraud, waste, fraud, and abuse. It's all three of those things, but I'll give you examples in HUD. If you go out and do a contract to do some work, let's say at a housing authority property, they will come in to do an audit after the fact to see that you complied properly with bidding requirements, the vendors were properly selected, they were done all in proper process, the materials used were matching, everything is in line with federal regulations and laws. That's their job.
So they're independent auditors.
They're independent auditors, and so they're not, because you don't get, a financial audit of HUD doesn't deal with operational things, it deals with pile of numbers.
Right.
These are operational auditors or investigators. They will also audit grants, so that there are things called eligible and ineligible expenditures and grants. And they will go in and they will test. And I know when I was working at the Housing Authority after I left, there was a person who did grant work for them. And I was struggling with the fact that they had done some spending that I thought was not appropriate. And sure enough, 2 years later, HUD comes back with their IG audit that says, you had $70,000 worth of ineligible expenses that you spent our grant money on, you have to reimburse us. So that's the kind of thing they look for, is the things that are not in compliance with the laws and regulations. They pull it out, they issue reports. If you go to the HUD OIG website, you just do a search for, or even just the general HUD one, and you put Woonsocket in the search.
Yep.
It'll come up with these reports going all the way back into the 90s that they've issued from the Office of Inspector General.
All right,
So-
we got to take a break, Tim. Sorry. Hang on to that question.
Oh, God, no. Wait a minute. We have to come back. I wasn't even thinking of a message.
Okay. Well, let me talk to Tim a
Talk
little
to
more.
Tim for a second. Hold on.
Keep thinking, Tim.
No, I'm fine.
No,
I'm
so
fine.
my,
I'm
my,
fine.
my thought is that what Musk is doing isn't necessarily what an inspector general would do. What he seems to be doing is going in and going, okay, you Congress people approved all this money for, show in Africa or whatever.
Yeah,
that makes absolutely zero sense for anybody in the United States. That's waste and fraud.
But that's opinion.
Right.
And that's philosophy.
Right.
That's not law and regulation.
Right, and that's where Trump's going to get into trouble.
And that's where he's going to get into trouble.
Right.
A lot of this is his agenda versus what Congress previously passed. And so some of it will stick because there is some administrative authority.
Yep.
And some of it will get tossed. I think a lot of the USAID philosophical differences will actually be kept, because once they appropriate the money, they're not that specific as to exactly where it's
But
going.
what they've done though is
There's
they've
discretion.
uncovered a lot of that stuff that Joe Citizen had no idea was happening, because it's
Right.
buried in those bills that are continuing resolutions to go on forever and fund ridiculous topics. So even if a lot of it doesn't stick and it all comes back and everybody gets the funding that they were approved by Congress for, hopefully there's a heightened level of, well, what are you approving? Let's make sure that we know what's going into these never-ending resolutions.
You know what continuing resolutions at present are, right?
Yes.
CRAP.
Yeah.
Crap.
All right. On that note, let's take our first break here of the Coffee and program. So it's time for a second message, Melissa, from the St. Antoine.
So my
community.
answer should have been, I always have something to talk about.
You are a marketing person.
If you know me. But I sort of was so caught up in what John was talking about, I just fogged over. I'm like, wait a minute, what? And my coffee's not gone yet, so that's
She
usually
thought
an
she might be
indicator.
agreeing with me.
I'm what? Actually was. It's been odd. 2 weeks in a row. I know. Well, you'll mention that in a second. So I like to just always give a heads up in advance of events that are coming up that I think would benefit people out in the community, especially if you're dealing with a loved one who may have been recently diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, or you've been caring for someone with Alzheimer's disease for several years. The 14th Annual Caregivers Journey and Research Conference is coming up. It's scheduled for April 17th. I just got my invitation in the mail. St. Antoine Community attends every year. It is by far my favorite event. Oh, wait, my second favorite event after, of course, the WOON Health Fair.
That's right.
Which is days removed
Well played,
from it.
Melissa.
Thank
Well
you. Sorry
played.
about that. And I will say that there have been people I've seen at your health fair that have followed me over to the conference the week after. So it does sort of piggyback the right way. But the reason I like to bring it up is because it is a wonderful opportunity for people who are either just at the beginning stages of caring for someone with Alzheimer's or even progressing through the illness for several years. It's one-stop shopping, a variety of vendors, long-term care vendors, community support vendors, whether it's home care, adult day health, senior centers, any kind of supports tied to really helping guide you through the process of caring for someone with Alzheimer's are there in one location. And on top of that, they provide a whole day of education. It's entirely free. There's food, etc. It's at the Crown Plaza. So mark your calendars if you or someone that you know is supporting someone with Alzheimer's right now. It's definitely a not miss event. And it is again on April 17th, and it usually runs from 8:30 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. So it is all day. If you can only make part of it, come for part of it, but it is free, and it is something that I would definitely encourage you to attend.
Very good, Melissa. Thanks. And the Coffee and program will continue. We have a note to get to, and we will when we come back.
Integrity, trust, service. 3 words that sum up what you can expect from the Carew Investment Group at 2190 Mendon Road in Cumberland, Rhode Island. Established in 1987, we've been helping local investors to build wealth and guide them through their golden years of retirement using quality stocks of companies that you know, many of which pay quarterly dividends. We also use investment-grade bonds and low-cost exchange-traded funds. To find out more about our services and for a quality conservative approach to investing, call us at 765-8880. Integrity, Trust, Service. The Carew Investment Group. Securities offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC, and advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then, someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or on third-party delivery platforms.
The Coffee and panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON Radio.
And it's Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith, Tim Draper, and John Ward. The note that came in, it just asked the panel, do you approve of the new administration's Doge? And from what I've read, what I keep reading, and I'm hoping what I'm getting is the correct information, the amount of money that they have found that they're saving has been remarkable. And I'm hoping it's all correct. The waste that they are finding right now has been incredible.
Well, the stories about Social Security are so outlandish. I'm not sure what's real, what's not real. Much of it
I haven't read anything about Social Security. It's just other departments.
There's people over 150 collecting.
Yeah.
Well, who's getting the checks and where are they going?
It's comparable. It's a standard thing of the word that gets out of Trump's administration, like even out of his own mouth when he said that we've given $350 billion of aid to Ukraine during the war. And then when you get the real numbers, I saw 3 sources last week that capped it at about 178. And I saw a follow-up just yesterday on the news, Fox News even, which contradicted him, and it's about $185 billion. He wants $500 billion back in minerals.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Why would Ukraine want to get screwed in the deal? Besides to save lives, which is a good reason, and stability. But I still say, if they do a peace settlement based on economic exchanges with Russia and Ukraine and land swaps, as soon as Trump's gone, we have a war again. Pretty clear. And
all right.
So back to Doge, though. I am actually doing an investigation locally because I had asked some questions related to police detail back in November. And I followed up in December, and I followed up in January, and I followed up in February. And to this day, I have not received one answer as to the justification for how they calculate the revenue, because it's such a small amount, how the process works, whether or not they're properly withholding taxes from the retirees who are working police details. I have a whole series of questions that I have asked of the solicitor back in November that I have, as of the end of February, still have no answers to.
Do you think you'll get answers because you're just a citizen warden?
I'm either going to do it, or I'm going to get it through Eli Sherman or the state police or somebody.
Isn't that
Tim,
open records? An open
Well,
records
some of
request?
them are process questions, so they're not really open records thing. But I may have to go to a meeting and just start embarrassing people.
All right, Tim or Melissa, do you want to weigh in on what Doge is doing?
I'm looking at Melissa. She doesn't want to weigh in on that stuff. But
Okay, maybe you're not paying attention. That's fine.
I think it's sad that we have to use a blunt force to expose some of the spending. I'm not saying it's wrong spending. I'm just saying understanding what the spending is. Because every time we turn around and the government rushes through one of these continuing resolutions at the 12th hour so that we can keep the government alive, it has all this garbage built into it. And I kind of want to know what that garbage is. And again, I think that a lot of it is probably legit. It's been approved, so it's got to be paid. But I'm just like, man, I don't approve of the way he's doing it, but I like the fact that we're getting some stuff brought to light that none of us would have ever known about it any other way, because the legislature isn't going to want to be forthcoming with that information.
Okay.
So as a taxpayer, I'd be foolish if I wasn't thrilled if they found tons of money that can come back into our country and we can kind of rebalance our budget and get things back on track. I struggle, like you said, with the process of how this information is being presented, and I question, because there's so many questions with media right now, who to trust, what to believe, that until I see like something of substance, a formal report with evidence, which we still haven't seen. It's just press conferences with information being spewed out, but it's not like there's something tangible. I haven't been told I can go to a site, look at this, and it's stamped with approval by a representative of Doge that's not Elon Musk with a chainsaw in his hand.
Not gaming at night.
I think that's what's killing me. It's the circus that surrounds it. And I'd like to see something that I really feel as though has been vetted and properly vetted and presented. And there's no way in 1 month's time that's possible.
You get that. Okay.
You know what I mean? So I think if we're sitting here in 6 months and it's been quiet and slowly rolling things out, and then in 6 months it's like, hey, this is the work we've been doing behind the scenes, let me present it to you to review it, then I feel like that's a little more realistic of a process. For anybody who works in business, like there's no one that in 1 month's time can properly vet out the kind of stuff that they're talking about in a short period of time with evidence, with hard evidence.
Okay.
Just suspicion. That's what it feels like. Everything feels like suspicion, and everyone's buying into it, and then it's just keeping us divided. It becomes political, and it shouldn't be, because regardless of what side you sit on, as a taxpayer, like, you would be thrilled to find all this money and recoup this money and get it back on track, regardless of what political affiliation you have. But at the same time, I have bigger concerns right now with everything that's coming out right now regarding Medicaid and possibly having some funding slashed there. And all of that, again, circus surrounding that announcement.
Okay.
So.
Before we get into something heavy, just something that happened down in Cranston.
Oh.
It's almost the perfect crime.
Oh.
All right. And it happened at the Burlington Coat Factory. It's on Garfield Avenue. And Cranston police are looking for a mother. She's accused of instructing her child to steal a woman's purse while they were shopping. Yes. And that way, I say it's almost perfect, because if the child gets caught, you can say, oh, bad child. You shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And if you get away with it, you've gotten away with it.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is almost perfect.
Yeah.
But there's cameras, and it looks like on camera the mom is instructing the child to go do this.
Right.
So now they're looking for her. They don't have a name. They don't have arrest. Police are looking to identify her. They say the child took the purse and handed the wallet to the mother. before they left the store. Didn't I tell you we're going to do it outside?
Oh my gosh.
So anyone with information, in case you happen to be at the Burlington Coat Factory in Cranston, they're looking to Cranston Police would like to talk to you.
Yeah.
Like it's almost the perfect crime.
So cringy.
Yeah.
I remember being in Kohl's in Warwick one time, and I happened to walk in the store. This is maybe 5-6 years ago, and there was a mom there being arrested or something. Like, you know how they have like the offices and the door happened to be propped open right near the entrance to the store, like the administrative offices. And so I saw the person being arrested and questioned by police, and there's a carriage with 2 toddlers sitting in it, crying hysterically. And that moment I thought to myself, like, that could have been a similar case where maybe there was some stuff being stashed in the carriage and trying to, whatever. But the kids witnessing the whole thing or being involved in that moment is just awful.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's awful.
All right. Break time once again here on Coffee In. Time for the weather forecast being brought to you by unbound.org.
Sunny skies today with a high of 48 degrees and a breeze from the northwest. Tonight, there's a 50% chance of rain, mainly after 3 a.m., increasingly cloudy all night, overnight low of 33. Thursday's weather, 70% chance of rain all day, cloudy skies, high near 50 and a southwest breeze. Thursday night, rain ends and overnight low of 34 degrees. Friday, sunshine and 44. Saturday, a 40% chance of rain and snow before 7 a.m. and then just rain later in the day Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high of 52. Sunday, sunny and 31 for a high. Monday, sunny and 33. And on Tuesday, mostly sunny skies, high near 44.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, where we have sunny skies and we're up to 42 degrees. An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. A girl in Kenya wants to become a doctor. Reach out and change their world, and it will change your own at unbound.org.
Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogies with onions and what they call dirty sour cream. Or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported foods. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 in the morning till 6 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 8 to 5 p.m. It's Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. Follow us on Facebook and learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street, Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
We've unlocked the vaults and we're replaying Casey Kasem's American Top 40, the 70s. This week is from February 28, 1976. That's when Foghat took a slow ride. David Bowie remembered the golden years. The Who played the Squeeze Box. And Paul Simon taught us 50 ways to leave your lover. You'll hear those songs and all the top 40 hits from February 28, 1976, right here on American Top 40, the 70s.
It is Coffee In on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here, along with Melissa Smith and Tim Draper and John Ward. And Tim, time for first message from Navigant Credit Union.
Well, Joe, it's home buying season. People starting to think about that as the weather breaks a little bit here. And if you're buying your first home, it's pretty exciting. It's also very daunting because it's hard to find inventory for a first home. It's also one of the biggest decisions that you're going to make about your future. We'll give you the guidance that you need so that you can feel empowered and confident throughout that whole process. At Navigant, we offer a wide range of helpful calculators that will show you what your upfront costs will be when purchasing a home. They can also help give you a realistic picture of what a monthly mortgage payment and other expenses might be. This really allows you to make the smartest decisions that you can about your financing. Our knowledgeable team of experts will lead you through a variety of different loan options based on your individual situations, help guide you to the scenario that best suits you and your finances for your goals of home ownership. Getting started is easy. You can stop by, talk to any of our staff in the branches to get started, or if you just want to get right down to it, any of our mortgage originators out of Smithfield will certainly help you. You can call them at 233-4700 or sign up for an appointment online at navigantcu.org.
Very good, Tim. It's time for our drawing for the Milk Fund Calendar Raffle. Today's prize is let's see, I'm going to do this over here. Okay, a $25 gift card to CVS. So Melissa has all the All the
I was
candidates.
responsible for shuffling it, but I didn't think I was going to be picking it. So should I shuffle and Tim should pick?
You can shuffle and pick
Yeah, you
at the
can
same
shuffle.
time.
I can do both?
You can do both. It's a,
I just wanted everyone to hear the
it's a
shuffle.
lot of responsibility, though, Melissa. So make sure you do that right. We have
Okay.
3 people witnessing.
All right, and who do we have?
Oh, it is Bob Phillips.
Hey, Representative Bob
This
Phillips.
is amazing.
Uh-oh, why?
Because
Did he just get picked?
we chose his wife, Nancy Phillips, twice, and their son, Matt, has been pulled once.
Are they bribing you? What's happening?
No, because that's why I had you pick it.
Ah.
So I'm not.
Congratulations, Bob.
Wow, that's
And your wife, and your kid.
That's amazing. All right, so
family affair.
Thanks, John. All right, so there's a nonprofit agency, and they want Senator Sheldon Whitehouse investigated.
Yeah.
This is the Foundation for Accountability and Civic Trust, or FACT, F-A-C-T. They're saying that he violated ethics rules on conflicts of interest, and it certainly looks that way. Now, Whitehouse's wife, Sandra, has worked for a nonprofit agency called Ocean Conservancy since 2008, and that organization has been awarded 19 government grants over the years worth more than $14 million, of which he has voted on and approved. That's just fact.
That sounds like conflict
I'm
of
like,
interest.
I'm like, uh-oh.
They brought this up last year, didn't they?
Except what I read of the facts yesterday are not that.
Okay,
In fact,
what
she works for a company that she's president of that is a contractor for Ocean Conservancy, and Ocean Conservancy has come out with a statement saying, we've never used that grant money to pay her at all.
Well, it's not. Is it money to pay her, or just money going to that nonprofit?
What they're saying is it's money going to the nonprofit, but it's not connecting
To her.
There's no dot connecting to her.
Okay,
Because we don't pay that company out of those funds
Okay.
for what they do. That's what I read yesterday as their
Okay.
defense.
Now, a similar complaint against White House was filed a year ago, and that was dismissed,
It's dismissed.
by
And
the
this
Ethics
one will
Committee.
probably be
Same
dismissed,
thing, then. Okay, by what they find. All right, so I
That
thought.
doesn't mean I think he's a wonderful person who's not being as close to crooked as you can get, because I still said he was doing stock market manipulation back in 2008 to 11 to avoid losing money in the market, because he had insider information, just like most congressional people who make millions and millions of dollars off the market.
Yeah. All right. So, and he's not. And White House also makes the news. And I was just wondering if he put this out to try to deflect the spotlight off of this situation and put it on to this situation, because he's calling the U.S. opposition to the United Nations resolution condemning Russia aggression in Ukraine a disgrace. So he's coming out. And
You know what?
I guess what
I
Trump
agree-
said, basically.
I agree with him. It is a disgrace.
Okay.
To deny that Putin was the aggressor and has murdered people and is a tyrant and a dictator is not in the best interest of the nation's integrity.
All right.
Agreed.
So, agreed on that one. All right. So things
we
you're not,
all agree.
all right. Things you're not supposed to do, and when you do them, you get arrested. And this is a 19-year-old woman. Okay, young, still rather young.
lady.
Undeveloped frontal lobe.
That's right. What would you say, Melissa?
Young lady.
Young lady, 19. When you hit a police car, you cannot make a run for it.
Oh, boy.
I don't care how upset you are. And this is what had happened in Providence. 19-year-old woman charged after the police she crashed into a Providence police cruiser and then took off. Happened just after midnight, Sunday into Monday morning. As they say, nothing good happens after
Took
midnight.
off on foot or in a
No,
car?
in her car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hit and run.
Yeah, something's going on, because ABC6 is reporting she allegedly was speeding through several intersections and failed to stop at 2 red lights, which is why the police were coming after her. So they did catch up to her, and she was arrested. We got various charges against her, including operating a vehicle with an unsealed alcoholic beverage in the car. That's what it's called now. Instead of drinking and driving, it's an unsealed alcoholic
Unsealed.
beverage.
This is
Yes.
this is where
Sealed
you're saying
beverages are okay.
She checks off all the boxes, but not in the right way.
Yeah, basically. And as always, driving without a valid license.
Oh, of course.
And no word on insurance or anything like that.
None guaranteed.
So maybe that's why she ran. I got the booze in the car, and I don't have a right license. Maybe I can get out
And
of
I
here.
don't have insurance.
That was a panic moment.
It is.
probably. Yeah.
It is a panic moment, but they were still caught. Because then you look at this guy who was arrested in Providence, but he was on a 2-state, couple of town chase over the weekend, starting in Uxbridge into Woonsocket, into North Smithfield, into Lincoln, going down 146, into Providence, into East Providence, into Massachusetts. Turned around, came back into Providence. So it started in the morning, but they didn't arrest him until 7 o'clock at night.
I'm amazed how many people go into Massachusetts and then turn around and come back to Rhode Island. It seems.
They deceased. He was going so fast. Now it's a safety issue, and so the police said, "Okay, let's back off." But what I'm thinking is they've obviously ran his plates. They know who belongs to this car.
Right.
Let's just go to their address.
Can't we just follow them on the highway cameras and just?
And they waited for him to come home. They just cut him at his home. So I was like, so this guy, he was people get no contact orders and those kind of things, and he's just saying, I don't care.
Yeah.
And now he's showing up at this woman's place of work in Uxbridge, even though she has the restraining order against him.
That's the problem. I just don't understand that.
Oh, yeah,
restraining orders don't. Why do you have that? Why
Love is a many splendored thing.
Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, they work only if you adhere to it. Other than that, it's just a piece of paper, and I'm going to do whatever I want. Right. And from what I've read, he's done this 7 times. He's violated the no contact
Oh my
order.
gosh! So why
See, I
hasn't
think
he
if
been
you violate
arrested? That
one
makes no
time, you
sense.
should be arrested.
No kidding.
I don't know, but that's what we read.
How else are you
yesterday.
gonna zing them?
Well, probably we don't have enough prison space, so therefore they don't want to do that. But
I'm sorry.
But now
You
you
said
have to.
7 times. You're saying
7
like
no contact orders.
1,
Yeah.
2. Oh my God, 3, and you made it all the way to 7. Is ridiculous.
It's deliberate at that point.
I feel like you could sue the police department at that point.
But
did I say that out loud?
You
Yes,
did?
Yeah, you did. Okay.
And then we were all silent.
how many times has it been?
Are we not all agreeing?
How
Sorry.
many times has he been brought before the judge for those violations, and what did the judge say in each of those cases?
I could have been. This could have been my trial this week.
Could have been.
That's right. You're
He
right.
could have been going to trial, and
Going to arraignment and things.
they're going to allow him to go to an 8th time.
Maybe they settled.
So do you hear about that sub shop in Johnston? Is it Riccati's?
Well, Riccati's is a big sub shop. But.
In Johnston?
In Johnston, they got to close because the strip mall they were in has been sold.
Yep.
And this happens a lot. They sold. The new owners came in, throws everybody out.
Why would you throw Riccati's out?
He's evicting them all because they want to go in another direction.
Yeah.
As they say, I don't know if they're going to tear the whole thing down and start over, but they've been there for over 50 years.
Well.
And the son was on the news saying, him and his dad started it 50 years ago, and now we can't find a place to go to that's suitable for what they need. And so, okay, we're just closing.
There's got to be some small strip mall sub shop things that have closed down or restaurants that have closed that you can go into, but
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of square footage they're looking for, so I don't know.
yeah.
I would love it if Riccati's came in and took a spot over here in the job
Smithfield
lot
Plaza.
plaza that I keep saying is a dive, and hopefully they're gonna refresh it, and maybe they could.
It's tough.
fix
D'Angelo's
some-
D'Angelo's is right there.
I would take Riccati's over D'Angelo's any day of the
Where's
week.
D'Angelo's?
At Park
Oh,
Square.
Park Square. Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about.
Sorry, I said
you're
it on
talking
there
about that
too. I just
plaza.
realized
I
I
thought
am-
you were talking about the one over.
Yeah, no,
I'm
the
sorry,
one over
Walnut
here.
Hill. Okay,
No.
yeah.
This is the one she doesn't like.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't recollect the last time I even saw a Riccati's.
Attleboro, North Attleboro.
Is there one?
Washington
Same-
Street, North
same
Attleboro.
owners?
I think it's
Riccati's
well, I
is
don't
that
say
Middle,
owners,
Middle
but-
Spring Avenue is the one I used to always go to in North Providence.
Ever since Subway started popping up everywhere, I stopped seeing D'Angelo Riccati's
Yeah.
around.
Is that now your go-to sub shop?
Jersey Mike's.
Jersey
I'm not
Mike's is
big on
good.
going to sub shops anyway.
Well, okay. All right. There was a pedestrian struck in Uxbridge. He's in critical condition at UMass Memorial. 81-year-old man hit by a car in Uxbridge. It happened on North Main Street around 6 at night. Yeah, it's still kind of dark.
Yeah.
I mean, the sun sets around 5:30 now. So, driver remained at the scene, cooperated with police. So that's always a good thing. So, all right.
There's a guy walking on Diamond Hill Road the other day. There's no snow blanks. There's no sidewalks.
Now,
There's
what
no
part of
snowbanks.
Diamond Hill Road though? Big street.
Heading between the 295 and my house. So that.
Oh, your house,
section,
yeah.
yeah.
We all know where Tim's house is.
Sorry, Joe. My house. Well, I thought you might know. Diamond Hill Park, heading that direction, that stretch.
All right.
And
He's in the
black,
middle of the road.
wearing jeans,
Yeah.
black jacket, walking with the traffic.
With the traffic?
With the traffic. And I'm
At
caught
what-
up.
Bugs Bunny time.
Yes.
My water maroon. I didn't
At
see
what
him.
time?
I did not.
Is it dark?
7 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's dark
Right?
out now.
But I didn't see him. I'm
Until you're
literally
passing.
almost on him, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I yanked the car to the other lane. I'm thinking, what happens if
Was
there's
there a car there?
Fortunately, there was nobody in the other lane, but I was like, oh,
No, the close
man.
call.
Wow.
Yeah,
It is.
Yep.
but just
And no reflection.
no reflection,
Jacket
probably no
or
remorse.
nothing. No
You're on the
remorse.
wrong side of the road, though, dude. Put your flashlight on or something on your phone and walk with it that way. Just give me an indication.
How do
Just-
people even think of that anymore?
One or two pieces of reflective tape and stick it on your coat.
Right.
Yeah, that'll work. All right, break time once again here in the Coffee and program. So, Tim, time for a second message, please, from Navigant Credit Union.
Just want to let everybody know that if you have a young person out there, as Melissa does, our scholarship applications are up and online and ready to be completed. I forget exactly the date that they're due by.
April
Maybe,
1st.
April 1st. So you got another month to have your young person go out there and fill out that application. Now, really, the only thing is they have to have one of the Embark accounts. So if you want to come in, open up an Embark account, and then fill out an application, have at it. But one of the qualifications for the scholarship applications that we put into place last year, it worked out pretty well, is that the student needs to have the Embark account. We think that's important because it really is the gateway to learning proper financial management. So we're kind of forcing that issue a little bit. We want them to get to develop good savings and spending habits, and more importantly, if we can help fund them with a $1,500 scholarship to a university or trade school or something like that, we would love to do that. And we don't get a lot of people going to like the trade schools and applying for our scholarships. So I would love to see
Spread
more.
that word.
Yeah, I'd like to see more people who are in high school now that are planning on going to get more technical training or more hands-on training. That if they would fill out that application, because it costs money to go to New England Tech.
Yeah.
Right, it
The
costs money
prompt
to go to
essay
some
that
of
you
the-
have too, not to take over your. I love it, and I would love when this is over if you shared some of the responses because so the prompt question was something to the effect of like, how are you going to
Impact your community. Right.
community or change the
Right.
world? Like something
Yep.
on a scale you could take it small or big with what you're pursuing upon graduation, and I just think. That sounds like such a positive
Right.
message.
Well,
I'd
we
love
used
to
to
hear the
ask-
responses from kids to see what they're thinking.
We used to ask, what do you want to do when you get out of college with this education? And we always got the same things. Well, I want to make the world a better place. I'm going to use my medical degree to go to work in a third world country. This is more about, it's kind of fits on our pillars, is what we think is important and how we try to impact the community. What are you going to do? Right, with your degree to impact the community. Not what you're going to do for your life, but how are you going to make it better?
Yep.
And so we open it up that way. Now I'm going to be very curious because I want to use this year a tool that will help us to decide who's written it with ChatGPT.
Yep.
It also, by the way, prevents students from just copying the previous essay that they wrote for their other scholarship applications, which I know they do because my kids did it. This forces them to think a little bit about their
Well,
response.
if you take what they write and you put it into Chat GPT and say edit, and
Yeah.
it comes back exactly the same, now you know where it came from.
That's exactly right. So if you're looking to do that on top of the website, that says scholarships available, click the button at the top and it'll take you right to the application page. It's a pretty simple application.
All right, very good there, Tim. And the Coffee and program will continue. Please stick around.
When you're thinking about a place to go out to eat with your family or the whole gang, or maybe something quieter for just the two of you, head over to ON Radio's website, woonsocketradio.com, and click on the restaurant guide. This gives you a listing of the best restaurants in the area. You can take a look at menus and possibly even make reservations. This is a great resource to see a bunch of restaurants all in one place. Remember, it's woonsocketradio.com and click on Restaurant Guide. And if you own a restaurant that's not already listed, call WOON Radio at 401-762-1240 for information on how your restaurant can be on the Restaurant Guide. Call Joe at 401-762-1240.
What if your limited inventory had unlimited potential? What if your biggest risk was not taking one? What if you could make every move matter? Bank of America's Business Solutions can help bring your biggest what-ifs within reach. Find out how our digital tools, cutting-edge insights, and trusted expertise can work for your business. What would you like the power to do? Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
At Boot Barn, we believe the cowboy boot is the foundation for a life well lived. We work, we raise, we break bread, and tomorrow it starts again. This life requires a boot that supports perseverance, Ariat boots undergo 150 steps to ensure performance. Boot Barn carries over 250,000 Ariat boots nationwide because out west, tenacity is second to none. Ariat at Boot Barn.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
It is Coffee In on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith and Tim Draper and John Ward. And ready for the fun stuff? Not that this is fun, but there's a grandmother.
So we won't be discussing the Pope.
Ooh.
I mean,
poor guy.
It's too bad. But a grandmother from Arizona, she's been awarded $7.5 million in compensation from Universal Studios in Hollywood because she went to the amusement park there and got on the Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey ride. Okay, well, and this happened by the way in 2022. She suffered a crushed spine as she was exiting the ride. She slipped, fell on a moving walkway after being asked to leave the ride when her harness would not connect.
Yep.
So she didn't actually even go on the ride. You know, it's a safety thing. We can't get it to buckle in, so please leave. So she does, but she says the belt from the harness got tangled in her feet and knocked her to the ground.
Oh, well.
So Morrison's attorney says the park employees should have stopped the moving walkway to allow her to exit the ride safely.
Yeah.
The moving walkways do stress me out.
Yeah,
I have to
bit.
say, you do feel like what is it called? Not the mansion, the haunted house,
mansion?
the haunted mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That moving walkway
Oh,
always
yeah?
starts like your time
Really?
to get out of that. I think they just spin you around and then you're supposed to exit.
Yeah.
It's like, whoop. And the older, well, I haven't been in a couple of years, but the older you get, it is a little bit like stressful. It's a little dark. It's a little,
Yeah.
but if you have a
Wow.
strap that got tangled in your feet,
Yeah. And you're
Sounds
gonna fall.
like they need seatbelt extensions for special customers.
Or training for your staff to hit the red button that says stop.
Stop.
yeah.
Stop everything.
And because they do that at Disney.
Sure.
Mostly people like in wheelchairs to get on the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to stop
Okay, stop it.
everything.
Yep.
You get
Unless
on.
the problem is they've got all their staff out at the ride itself to try to get people on and off, and they don't have enough people employed to or at the button to stop it.
It's an important job.
It is an important job. The stop the ride
They
in
probably
case of
had cuts.
emergency is an important job and should
I
be
think-
fully funded.
Disney has that. I don't know about Universal, but Disney has a stop the ride person, and they
Yeah.
just rotate around.
Right.
Of course.
You just take a turn.
It's now
So
next
$7
15
million.
minutes. Yes.
Well, it's a lot of bread. I'm
You
sure.
shatter your spine. Is
I
that
want to know how
gonna
much
make
of
you
that's
feel
going
better?
to the hospital for medical payments.
Yeah. All right. Now we've all flown, and we've all gone through the fun of TSA, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I have never seen anything
I heard this
really
story.
crazy.
Yeah.
Because I'm just
heard this
never in the
story.
right
This
This
places.
was great.
A South Carolina man is going to prison 33 months for stripping naked and assaulting a TSA officer while intoxicated at the airport in Indiana.
What did
And
she
I-
say?
and I bet-
Sir, please step out of line. We need to.
Well, that's it. That's right. The Department of Justice
Is it?
says George
I love
Stevens was going through a TSA checkpoint
unhappy.
at the Indianapolis International Airport. I've actually been there. When he was singled out for inspection. And court records show he became agitated. And so he pulled his jeans and his underwear to the floor. Prosecutors say Stevens had a history of criminal offenses, including domestic violence and gun offenses prior to this incident. WTHR reports the FBI, TSA, and Indianapolis Airport Police Department are investigating the case. we're gonna look into this.
Let me tell you a funny story. I'm in Amsterdam this summer, going to the airport.
Yeah.
And they've got like 6 or 7 security people who are in training at the TSA booth or whatever they call their thing.
All right.
So I go in, and of course I get singled out. Of all the people we're with,
you do.
I get singled out. He's like, "Would you mind if you come over here, please? We need to we gotta do some further scanning." I'm like, "Yeah, no worries." No, in the meantime, I'd taken my belt off because you're supposed to, because of it'll ring when you go through the thing. I'm standing there, and this guy is patting me down. He grabs my pant leg and he starts patting, but he's pulling at the same time. My pants are down around my knees. My wife walks by. She's like, "Whoa!" She couldn't believe what's happening. I literally, my knees. And I'm thinking to myself, "Can I pull my pants up now, please?" I mean, fortunately, I had clean underwear on, which is always what your mother tells you to do.
Mother tells you to do that every single time.
Thank you for that.
All right.
It's just, was it your Thundercats under there?
All right, the Underoos. Yeah,
Oh, that's right, Underoos.
All right, there's
You know that they probably watched footage back from that. Like,
Oh, they're
probably
laughing at
spoofed
that.
on
Oh,
it.
there's a bunch of people in the
being,
Netherlands.
That's being
hysterical.
shown at the Christmas party.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to show up on a TikTok video, but
All right, and another story: a woman from Missouri. She's pleading guilty in a scam. She was trying to sell Elvis Presley's Graceland estate like it belonged
oh, that's
to her.
right. I remember that story.
Prosecutors say Linda Finley forged the signatures of Presley's late daughter Lisa Marie on a note that claimed she did not pay back a nearly $4 million loan connected to Finley. Graceland was fraudulently listed as collateral, and Finley illegally put the Tennessee estate up for auction.
Wow.
She could get 57 months in federal prison when she's sentenced in June.
Well,
nice try. But you know, you're going to get caught at these kind of things.
It's Graceland.
I know. Obviously, you don't own it. The Presley estate owns it. Yes, John.
Back to Bugs Bunny.
What a maroon. All right. So we're going to have to deal with this because your kids are going to go to college, and Melissa and my kid's already in college. Not this year. She's got something else planned for spring break.
Yep.
All right. Spring break is on the way. And the kids, they don't want to stick. They don't want to go to Florida or Texas anymore or California. They want to go international.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big thing. Destinations in Mexico, and I would really stay away from Mexico. But anyway, and the Caribbean still remain popular. Other destinations gaining notice among U.S. travelers: Rio. Is it Curacao?
Yeah,
Is that how you say that?
Curacao.
Tokyo. You kidding? The money. Osaka and Istanbul are among the fastest growing. This is according to Expedia.com. Istanbul. Yeah.
Wow.
Is it warm there this time of year?
I don't know.
Wow.
Who cares?
Yeah. Istanbul.
I know. I'm lucky this year, Melissa, because the major my daughter is in, she wants to be an elementary school teacher, and she needs hours observing
She's
class.
gonna be home hanging out with little kids.
The entire week, she's going to her old elementary schools. One day's first grade, next day's second grade, third, fourth, and fifth. Her whole spring break is tied up in going in and observing classes.
Checking a lot of boxes, though. She's being responsible.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, once it came out, because it's part of her class, they said, you have to get these hours in, and then the next sentence was, most do it over spring break. Hint, 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 hint.
Right.
We should do that over spring break. So
Yeah.
And she's starting to get back her notices of what teachers she's going to get with, but there's a K through 2 school that hadn't heard back yet. That's because her Corey form has not come back yet.
Oh,
jeez.
So they got to go. They got to go through that.
Yeah, you do. Even to volunteer in a school, you need to
Oh,
check it.
Now
Crazy.
they're fingerprinting people now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. New and expecting moms are being urged to be screened for depression and anxiety. That's the new thing. The American Heart Association now recommends hospitals and healthcare providers screen for depression and anxiety. Who's not anxious while they're pregnant? Melissa? A little bit?
Who's still not anxious?
During and up to 1 year after pregnancy. After that, you're on your own. Doctors say psychological conditions during that time span are among the leading causes of maternal death in the U.S. It's also been linked to negative pregnancy outcomes and long-term heart problems. Okay.
I have so many thoughts on that, but the
Is
show
that
is
approved
almost
by
over.
the new Secretary of Health and Human Services?
I'll get Robert F. Kennedy on the phone and see if he wants to take care of that. A Kansas priest is one step closer to sainthood. The Pope, who's just laying around in the hospital, has got nothing better to do. Although he's hospitalized, he officially declared Father Emile Capone a venerable this week.
Which means he's up for sainthood. I think.
Yeah, next step, I guess. 2 alleged miracles are credited to him. Wow. Who died in a prisoner of war camp while serving as a chaplain in the Korean War. He was posthumously awarded the medal in honor of 2013. So this man's not alive. So,
No.
Okay, but I wonder what the 2 alleged miracles are. That's what I'd like to know.
Me too.
What did he do? What
But
did he...
they've backed off. They've lowered the bar on miracles. I mean, it's not like changing water into wine anymore. And now
Is it just waking up in the
like
morning?
I can do
now?
this with my thumb. Those deals. It's a magic trick.
Every day I open my eyes in the morning, I think it's a miracle. So who do I give credit to?
Well, the fires that took place in California a couple of months ago. They do Little League Baseball a little earlier over there because the temperature's so much warmer. They are planning a new season for the Altadena Little League in Southern California, even it comes amidst the devastation of the Eaton fires. Players lost their homes, lost their home field at one of the parks. This season, the West Pasadena Little League is helping out by opening its field to the other Little League.
Yeah.
And many of the Altadena players lost their homes in the fire, and they see the baseball season and help from neighboring league as symbols of hope and stability in the wake of tragedy. So that's nice. We like to have a little bit of normalcy, and we're supposed to be starting to baseball. Can we play?
Yeah.
It'll be a while before those fields come back.
How many
I
of
guess.
those families are going to be able to afford to rebuild?
Yeah.
I'm still trying to find
I don't know.
see what those pieces of information come out like.
It's crazy. Something like that happens, and you have nothing but images during the time of the occurrence, and
Right.
and then weeks pass, and you don't see it as often on the news, and then all of a sudden they'll do a story, and you see that it's just. I mean, it's reality of it's still
Well, you hear
gone.
now. You see the stuff
It's
from
awful.
Lahaina from Hawaii a couple years ago when that wildfire went through there.
Yeah, the reality I want to see in another month, I hope, is what has the Trump administration done for the Carolinas
Still.
and Los Angeles?
You know what I heard about Carolina? Is it Chris Stapleton, the singer?
Yeah.
That's from Carolina?
Yep.
There's going to be a lottery. 40 families. He's paying for everything. The rebuilding of the houses.
Yeah, but that's not the federal government.
No, it's not.
Has a
But
much
that's
bigger
the-
responsibility.
I understand.
And
But
with
I'm saying
all
that's
the-
what I heard yesterday.
With all the
Something's
Doge,
being
that's
done.
great. But with all the Doge efforts,
Yeah.
is that
What else?
affecting the FEMA response? Because
Yeah.
they talk about dismantling FEMA and reorganizing
Which is
some
such
other
a
way.
mistake.
Well, they've frozen the funds.
Well, we got to run.
Oh yeah.
Community Care Alliance is coming up next, so we thank you for listening in. Melissa Smith, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Well, glad I could be here.
I'm glad
actually.
you can make it in. Let
Happy
us
I'm
know.
not on jury duty.
Let us know about jury duty next time as well. Tim Draper, thanks for being here.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, and John Moore,
Don't
thanks
forget,
for coming
Melissa,
in.
just say guilty. Hey, it's going to feel like spring today, so go out and enjoy the God-given day.
Very
Thank you
good. I'm
much.
Joe Callahan. Stay tuned for Community Care Alliance next, right here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street.